about it while they were heading to Jalingo to have that meeting. However, towards the end of Friday, we got to hear the outcome of that meeting, something about ensuring that Governor Siminalayi Fubara's Excellency is the political authority of the PDP, talking about vowing to meet with the National Working Committee to revisit party congresses, especially in the state. My. If the governors are able to what's it called now? Revisit party congresses. It means that the political dynamics in Rivers State would likely change. And I mean it. However, the question is there a sincerity of purpose? One, on the side of the governors, of the PDP extraction. Two, do they have the ability? Because it looks like the PDP is divided. So you must have seen the articles carrying statements by Bode George saying he would not serve in the reconciliatory committee led by Tommy Kimi. He would not also participate in anything where the BOT chairman Wagbara, is heading or making decisions. The National Working Committee, like Imo Gocheri will tell you, is most likely on the side of Nyesom Wike, the FCT Minister, His Excellency. Now, the question then is, will the PDP Governors Forum, about 9 of them in that meeting, 4 absent, will they have the ability, to sway the National Working Committee to the governor's camp? Very sincere question I'm asking this afternoon. But then they said that they are ready to engage the National Working Committee of the party to revisit the congresses with a view to correcting the anomaly, while insisting that Governor Siminalayi Fubara must be allowed to take his rightful leadership position of the party in the state. The PDP governor said this in a communique issued at the end of the forum's 4th regular monthly meeting in 2024 at Government House Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, on Friday. Now, I think they deliberated on other things, but my concern is it possible to have a rerun of party congresses in Rivers State? Now, the BOT had visited the governor, but if you had watched national TV sometime on Thursday or Friday, you would have seen Senator Ningi on one of the national televisions saying that just as they visited the governor, they're going to visit the FCT minister as well. That they have listened to the governor, they understand where the governor is coming from, but they would also listen to the FCT minister. So like I told you sometime last week, the fight has evolved and it is now taking the shape of the party politics. I'm talking about the Rivers fight, the Rivers political fight. It is not taking the shape of, the PDP politics or internal conflicts. And we want to see, of course, I am looking and watching eagerly and keenly as to how things will pan out eventually. But let's quickly run to the next big story. You could, of course, start dropping your thoughts on the first big story on WhatsApp, 0809-030-6416. Now, my second big story has got to do with the petroleum sector. A lot of you don't like me talking about this because I would argue at the first half of the year, what if the refinery works? But now we're being told sometime in September, the refinery may likely start operation. While some of you are still in disbelief, just like I am, Dangote is also saying that his refinery would start operations in September. Now, that's not my focus. I'm also amongst the doubting Thomases these days. However, My focus is on Ainikin Lokpogbiri, who is the Minister of Petroleum for, is it oil? Petroleum for State Oil, right? And he has come out to say that there are two reasons why the petroleum sector would continue to see or witness the challenges it usually would. And one is that the pipelines are corroded. That means they're weak, they've expired, they've gone past the timeline of usage. And that's why it's easy for perpetrators of oil theft to go ahead with, stealing of petroleum or crude oil. And he also said even if the country is able to meet as 1.7 million barrels per day, it will be very difficult for those products to be transported because, once again, the pipelines are corroded. But that's not my focus. My focus is on the other reason he gave. He gave the other reason as, okay, I'll tell you. I think I do have a commercial coming up. I'm looking at my screen. Do I? I don't think so. Do I? Okay, I think I do have a commercial coming up.
The show continues after this break.
Past 3 p.m. Yes, I was telling you about my second big story. It has to do with the petroleum sector. But if you're just joining the show, you're welcome. The voice you are currently listening to is that of Kalada Kurubatfor. Good afternoon to you. And welcome to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH, just in case you want to see the face that has the voice. Nigeria Info PH is where you should go to right now. We're live. We're live on YouTube as well. And we're active on X, Nigeria Info PH, for both or all platforms. So I was talking about Ainikin Lokpogbiri, given reasons. I mentioned the first one. And the second one, he said NNPCL is paying below the landing cost, or is it selling below the landing cost? And that is why people would always divert petroleum products to other African countries because it's cheaper. But if for any reason NNPCL decides to sell above or at, maybe the same level as the landing cost, then it will reduce the diverting of, or the diversion of petroleum products, especially petrol, to other countries. And then it got me thinking, sorry, is that another way to say that we are paying for subsidy? I don't know if you saw Atiku's statement as carried by some articles in several newspapers. He's saying, be bold, talking to the president, be bold to, tell Nigerians that you've returned subsidy. But listening to Ainikin Lokpogbiri, I don't know if he was misquoted, but listening to him, as seen on several pages of newspapers, I'm worried, I'm concerned. Is that not another language? I mean, because we've been having this argument for so long as to whether we're paying subsidy or not. And if we are still paying subsidy, why is petrol as expensive as it is. I think the Bolt I was in yesterday, the e-taxi I should have said, I was in yesterday, bought petrol somewhere around the region of 900 naira to a litre. So if that is the case, why are we buying petrol as expensive as we do? These are the issues. But my final big story, because it's almost the bottom of the hour, has got to do with education. People, I would always say to you, right, that politics is very important because it is what begets policies, and policies, whether you like it or not, affect you and I directly or indirectly. So education. Remember when there was the argument, and we even had it on the show, whether children, or rather, students under 18 should gain admission into universities, whether the entry age into a tertiary institution should be 16 or 18. Remember we had that argument, right? And there were several opinions. However, the federal government, through the Minister for Education, has come out to say students under the age of 18 would not be allowed. I don't know if it's 18 because what the article stated under age, but I want to believe it's under 18. That students under the age of 18 cannot sit for WAEC and NECO exams. This is going to... I don't know if it's good or bad, because I am not an education specialist or expert. I don't think I know much about it. Maybe in the coming days we would have professors in education talk about all of this. However, I do know for a certain that it's going to disrupt the educational sector, whether you argue it or not. See, I do know for a certain majority, and I can dare say, about 90% of students in secondary schools would graduate from secondary school at the age maximum 17. Majority, 90%. My statistics may be not backed by any research, but I just feel it. I just feel it in my bones. Maybe you agree with me just because I'm observant. A lot of you, your children would finish secondary school. Remember, we have the 6 years primary school, but some people do 5 years, and some people even start primary school earlier than they should. And so we have, some people starting at 3 years. By the time they get to primary 5, they are about 8-9 years, and they are, or maybe let's even say 10, and then they get into a secondary school, and you're supposed to do 6 years maximum for secondary school, right? So if you do 6 years, 10 plus 6 is 16, right? Let's even now think about those who write or sit for the NECO and WAEC exams, and even JAM from SS2. That they've done 5 years secondary school, so probably finishing at the age of 15. So maximum, like I said, 90% of students would finish, or are most likely to finish, at the age of 17. How will this work out? I don't know, but I like to get your thoughts. For those of you who are parents and your children are still in primary and secondary school, how will this affect you? Because the federal government has declared that underage candidates will no longer be permitted to sit for secondary school leaving examinations administered by the West African Examinations Council and the National Examinations Council. Now, the Minister of Education, Professor Tahi Maman, disclosed this when he appeared on Channels Television's Sunday Politics program on Sunday night. That's yesterday. So I'm looking, and I'm looking forward to, I'm most interested in that argument because I'm so concerned as a result of the corruption that is engulfed. I don't know if that's the right word. That has overcome. I don't know, but basically Nigeria is enmeshed in corruption, right? And I do feel there will be a lot of age falsification. We already see all of those cases already, yeah? A lot of age falsification. There will be a lot of drama. A lot of parents would now have their children wait 2-3 years before they sit for that examination. I wonder if that's going to be healthy for the children. But I'd like to get your thoughts. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. WhatsApp number 0809-0306416. Now, I could have also looked at the fact that, the medical students who were kidnapped on their way from, I can't remember the northern state, but I think they were also going to an eastern state, and they were kidnapped, and they were in the kidnappers' den for about 7 days. They were rescued. The police is saying they did not pay ransom. We could have talked about that one. We could have talked about the governors represented by the commissioners for finance refusing the federal government setting aside certain monies as savings so that the government can afford the 70,000 naira minimum wage. That's a conversation we could have talked about, or we could have talked about. We could have talked about NNPCL's auditing, the audit of their 2023 books and all of that stuff. But a lot of things we could have talked about. We could have talked about many other things, but let's move now. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. I've got Clinton from Bori. Clinton, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Clinton.
Yes, this one, the Minister of Education is saying that underage should be allowed to write WAEC or NECO. I think it should be an uphill tax.
Why did you say so?
Because I teach in a public school, a very big public school, and the average age we have, even SS3, is 16, 17. Unless they want to keep it at 17 years. That
18.
might be acceptable.
18, he said.
18 would not be possible unless, and I know there will be a lot of malpractice going on in terms of age falsification, but with that figure, it will bring a lot of noise to the system.
All right.
Then going to the September date, I know that there's a plan, because I told the Canada that this refinery is okay, but it's like there will be a concerted effort from the two refineries we have now, Dangote and Port Harcourt. So maybe they want to do it together so that we can have enough product in the market. Finally, revisiting party congress in Rivers State, it is impossible. It is possible because the party congress has been conducted at the ward and at the local government level. So it means if you are going back, you're revisiting, that means they have to conduct it again. And what about those that emerged? That means PDP will be submerged in what we call legal crisis. So I think it's very,
I thought the party is supreme. So those who agreed would have to just follow the party processes because the party is supreme. Anyways, Clinton, thank you very much. I've got Isaiah from Buguma. Isaiah, welcome. What is on your mind? I would like to hear. Yeah. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, my brother. Litigations are known to party just as it is known to every other issues in life. And it will not be far from that. But, of course, you've heard so many persons say that party Supreme Court has also given judgment some time ago, I think in 2012-13, that party audacity is supreme and all of that. It means that when all the overhaul has been done, I think what will happen is that they will also still agree that party decision is supreme. Because I know what will actually play out. When in Ondo State, when the former governor defected to Labour Party, from Labour Party to PDP, all structures were taken over from those who were there and handed to the governor. So it will not be a different thing from this that will happen. When the governors took a position and maybe after a new convention has been held, right in the convention, elections will be held and a new chairman will have to come in And when the new shaman come in, brother, when old things, the reason why old things must give way for new things to come and new things to happen.
All right, Isaiah, I've got to go. Thank you. I've got Frank from D-Line. Frank, welcome. What is on your mind? Share with us.
Good afternoon, Mr. Agatobo.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Yeah. Let me react on the PDP Governors Forum communique about governor taking the structure back. I don't think that is the best way for the Governors Forum to do. Because why I said so, the FCT minister yes on weekend if they want to make peace in Revist, let them call meeting with the National Working Committee and call FCT minister and governor and reconcile them before talking about handing over structure back to the governor. If they don't do like that, I don't think that one will bring lasting peace.
All right.
PDP
All right. All right.
Please, so let them do that and make sure that peace will return to PDP.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Frank. I've got is it Ken? Is it Ken from Womini? Is it Ken? Welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear.
Good afternoon, Kalada.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Kalada, I think the PDP Governors Forum have now stood to their stand by declaring, pronouncing the position of the governor of Rivers State as a PDP member as regards the leadership in the system of the party. Any other thing is what I call cock and book story. In the area of the refinery, Mr. Kalada, I think these people should show working. Who wouldn't like to be hearing fixing of dates since last year? Let us wake up one morning and hear that Nigeria refinery has come to function. If the substitute one that they are trying now to convince us, which is the Dangote refinery, will also be functional. Let them show working. We are tired of their promises.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ezekiel, thank you very much for your thoughts there. This one says, Honorable Ida from Inkorora. Good afternoon, Kaladaba. PDP National shouldn't deceive themselves. Governor Sim is the leader of the party in Revist State. The former governor has finished his administration. He should rest. And Nicholas Erasmus says, please ignore Bode George since they claim that NWC of PDP is for Wike. How come they formed a committee that is against Bode George and Wike? The governor's forum is with Sim, BOT with Governor Sim, majority of NWC with Governor Sim, 80% of former and 7 political office holders in PDP with Governor Sim. Soon, things will favor Governor Sim completely. Nicholas Erasmus, all right, entirely your thoughts there. This one says, PDP Governors Forum back Governor Fubara to be in charge of PDP in Rivers State. This is a step in the right direction because Governor Fubara is the leader of PDP and he should be allowed to take over the entire executives. The bone of contention is that some BOT and National Executives Committee members have sold themselves out to one man since the matter is in court. Let the court decide. That's the only option to settle PDP issues in Rivers State. I want to take Clinton West. I go to the phone lines now where I have Obina calling from Irebe. Hello? Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, Obina, can you hear me? All kind of can you hear me?
Canada, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Quickly, let's get your thoughts, please.
Yes, you see, I want to start from NNPC. No matter how long they thought Heineken, local breed, and other stuff that our pipelines have stayed, that is not a reason for the sham that we are seeing in the oil industry. As a matter of fact, both Heineken, local breed, and Melakere, all of them are showing signs of incompetence. So all these excuses that they are giving us doesn't hold water. If they don't know what they are doing, they can consult others. As a matter of fact, Nigeria has many people who can do this work. But due to political patronage and other things, that is why we are seeing the high level of incompetence everywhere in this country. For the Ministry of Education, who is taking 18 years for people to write them, I think that is not a welcome development. The other day, I saw a young man who is 19 years in Japan or somewhere, who is already a professor. So if we have those geniuses in Nigeria who can be professors before 20 or 23, how can they materialize?
All right.
I think our government should think of positive things, not all these small things that they are using to score cheap political points. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to take my final call now. Mufasa from D-Line. Mufasa, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear.
Yeah, hi, Kalada. Good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
Good afternoon, brother.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, the position of the PDP Governors Forum, for me, in as much as I know that it's even coming too late, but I also believe that it's never too late than never. I mean, we all know that the governors, now that the PDP does not even, have the power at the center, the governors, they are the ones financing the party. And if you want to shut out a governor, not just any governor, a governor of Rivers State from that structure, that means it's going to affect the party going forward. So for me, I think the governor, of course, is the leader of the party, just as every governor of PDP is the leader of the party in their state. And then now that they've, woken up from their slumber, I also want them to see how they can discipline erring party members. Because for me, when people consider themselves more powerful than an institution, that becomes a problem.
So Mufasa, I'm going to pause you now because I do know where you stand politically. When you say discipline erring, I guess you're talking about Nyesom Wike. What would you say is disciplinary offense? I mean, can you tell?
Canada, PDP as a well-structured organization, they have rules and regulations governing that organization.
Quickly, I don't have time. So can you just point out? I don't have much time. I know they have rules, but can you point out the error he made, or the anti-party activities or whatever it is that you're pointing to?
My brother, I have not mentioned any name. I don't know where you are taking me to, but what I'm saying is across board.
Okay.
All those who must have done one or two infractions against the party. Because if we don't begin to see consequences for bad behavior, it simply means that such attitude will continue.
Okay.
So that is my position.
But before you give your last point, I've got two questions. I really want to engage you today. After all, you're the last call I'm taking. So first, if you say anti-party, or if you say you're disciplining Nyesom Wike, is it possible to discipline him without disciplining the governor? Because up until the political fight started, they were one and the same. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think I don't really have any problem with any particular individual. Now,
okay.
If according to their books, if according to their rules, the FCT minister has done certain things that is against the rules and regulation of the party, I'm just mentioning that name because you brought the name into
Yeah, I
discussion.
did. I did
To
intentionally.
have committed any infraction against the party, then appropriate punishment that is attracted to such offense should be meted at him.
But
when
yet,
we need to see people who consider themselves more powerful than
but yet again, you've not answered my question. And I said, what if that is true? Can we punish? When I say we, can the PDP punish the ex-governor without punishing the current governor? And that's my question to you. That's where I was trying to drive to before.
Of course, the party can punish anybody.
Okay, all right.
It's just for them to look into their book and see the gravity of the offenses committed by whatever individual that the case is.
All right, Mufasa.
For me,
Yeah,
I think the party needs to come out with more disciplinary measures against any member. It doesn't matter who the person is. And lastly, let me quickly say that the statement that NSC logo be released are going to show that Nigeria is operating on what I would refer to as a criminal estate. Because if the government is paying subsidy and the Nigerian people is not aware, that is a breach of contract and a breach of trust against the people.
All right, Mufasa, I've got to go. Thank you very much. Let's see. By the way, it's food for thought to as many people, because I just thought about it. A lot of people say, oh, and by the way, the fight, as we have been told, is basically between the FCT minister and the governor. So if that is the case, and people are saying, punish, like Edwin Clark has said, punish Wike. My simple question is, if he's found guilty, he should be punished. There's nobody above the law, especially of the party, because the party is supreme. But can you punish the FCT minister without punishing the governor? And that's a sincere question. I'm just thinking, I like to think left sometimes. Anyways, let's look at this one. It says, the reconciliation moves by the PDP governors will yield nothing because the Abuja man has stated it clearly that there is no room for forgiveness, and considering the fact that the Abuja man is someone that hardly takes advice, the reconciliation attempt will be futile at the end. For the refinery saga, the issue is not even about the refineries working. If it eventually starts to work, there is no crude readily available to be refined because the crude we boast to have has been sold in advance to these IOCs and some cabals who own these oil blocks, which will make it difficult for these refineries to access crude oil. So what's the point of fixing the refineries? Then you do have a point there. He said for the age barrier placed on prospective university intakes, it is very irrelevant because age is just a number and we have so many smart kids. This will be counterproductive as parents will sort for admission in other countries, which wouldn't be good for the growth of our GDP. Simply goodness from Alakai. People are already sorting for other countries, right? This one says, do not bother about the PDP situation in Revist. The FCT minister has crossed all the red lines. Therefore, there is no point for the governor's excellency to disturb himself because he appointed the ESCO in charge and still services ends. They are at his beck and call, nothing more, nothing less. This is where things stand in Revist. His excellency's team should focus on administering Revist properly, and Providence shall give him a guide to weather the storm. True, man is not God. Jerry Michael from Eagle Island, Port Harcourt. All right, Jerry Michael, thank you. And this one is from Pastor Sunday Rumigbo. He says, Nigerians are not carried away by the news of starting the refinery. I am tired and sick of hearing it every day that our refinery will start production until I see it myself before I accept it. Even the pastor does not have faith in our refineries. Oh my goodness. This one says the PDP are not ready to tell themselves the bitter truth. How can the former governor still be in charge when in other states the present governors are all in charge? Is River State different? Ezekiel Isaiah? All right. Someone sending a message as it relates to a song played earlier. I didn't play the song, by the way. It was Dennis. And this one says, what is the implication of negative effect of a child below 18 sitting for WAEC or gaining admission into higher institution? Again, for me, what should be of concern to the federal government is what the child has upstairs. They should also put into consideration the fact that our school system has changed, which as at today makes it possible for a child to finish secondary school early enough, just like for a Rumocracy pipeline. Okay, all right. This one says, former Governor Peter Odili as a governor was the leader of the party. Same thing goes to former Governor Mechi and Wike. Why shouldn't the current governor be the leader of the party? If there is any former governor that will be the leader, it should be former Governor Peter Odili Obina with that one. All right, I'm racing against time. Text from Oibu says, ban on under 18 SSCE. Sounds like a football match. But he says, I am waiting to see the research that says the age 18 is appropriate for SSCE. However, as an educationist, I support the need for students to complete the minimum 6-year curriculum, 3 years junior secondary and 3 years senior secondary. Some would say, what if the child is a genius? Let him try his hand in SS2, no wala. Then I would say let us allow year 4 medical students to attempt their final year medical exam. Anyone who passes the exam should be graduated from year 4 and inaugurated as a full-fledged medical doctor and sent to the health sector. I see what you did there, text from you. I said. But this one says, Melody Uniport, the minister is so myopic and retrogressive, I beg your pardon, in making this draconian policy. Those whose kids are dull shouldn't spoil our show for us. Don't use government office to frustrate our smart kids. We should be encouraging our smart kids, not limiting them. Smart kids are doing wonders in IT and other innovative endeavors and even breaking Guinness Book of Record all over the world. What program is the minister putting in place to keep those children busy and sustain their sharp brain before they get to 18 years? Are you just going to keep that sharp brain idle like that? Education is in concurrent list, not exclusively. The federal government should allow individuals and states who have brilliant kids to set a befitting stage for intellectual emancipation. I'm ashamed of the minister. Yes, it is in the concurrent list. However, I think when it comes to the policy, I think it is the federal government that does it. But then, according to what I was told by law, your child should start school at the age of 5. Primary school, I mean. We'll go for a quick commercial break. I thank you. If there's time, I'll come back.
Stay with us. Nigeria Info.